What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. Today we are finally getting around to doing the suspension on the A4. This is kind of my day two of it. I went ahead and did one side, the front passenger side. Yesterday, I got everything taken apart. I got the spring, the knuckle assembly, everything's out of it. I'll go ahead and show you guys that here in just a moment. We're gonna be working on the driver's side today. The pinch bolts for the upper control arms, those have just been seized on this car. Obviously, the car's got almost 190,000 miles and it's been outside since I've owned it and probably outside a lot longer than that. So that pinch bolt is seized, at least on the passenger side. I've tried heating it, doing a couple of other things, but I think when I take it to a shop to get those wheel bearings pressed in, I'm gonna see if they can remove that pinch bolt. Hopefully they have like an air hammer and an impact and some heat and lots of penetrating oil. I'm not sure. I'm gonna call around and see if they can do it. All right, you guys, so here's the front passenger side. As you can see, everything has been taken out. We're down to just the axle and the caliper. Everything is out of here. So it's getting ready to get cleaned. I'm gonna spray a bunch of degreaser up in here, kind of pressure wash this out, see if I can get it looking a lot better. But first we're gonna go over to that driver's side and start over there. As you guys can see, my mess from yesterday. So there's all the old arms right there, the knuckles right there. And to show you guys that pinch bolt that I am talking about, this is the knuckle assembly, and this is that pinch bolt holding in those upper arms. I don't know if you guys really know much about these old Audi suspensions, but all of these pinch bolts would always get seized. It luckily did come off on my S8. I don't know if you guys remember when I was working on the suspension on that and I had to take that pinch bolt out. Luckily it wasn't seized on the S8. It's got 150,000 miles and it's been garaged since I've owned it. So, I mean, it's a little bit more kept for in the suspension area. Also, it doesn't really get driven that much in the winter. This one's the one that gets driven. So all the salts being on the road and everything here in Colorado do not help with that. So we're gonna see if one of the shops can get that out. But first, since it is about 8:30 in the morning, we gotta get going on that other side so that way we can finish at a decent time today. I think this took me about 5 or 6 hours yesterday. Everything's just corroded and nasty and dirty. So obviously on top of replacing all the arms and everything like that, we got new tie rods, sway bar end links, all new arms, wheel bearings, brakes. So everything like that for up front. We will be cleaning everything. So I got a bunch of brake cleaner and I will be spraying down all these suspension pieces, cleaning them up nice, and then cleaning the rest out of the insides of the bolt holes and whatnot. That way everything is nice and in good shape. I also have some grease. I will be lubing up all of those holes where all the bolts go and have potential to seize, especially on this car. So yeah, that's it for the passenger side, but we will be moving over to the driver's side. I am gonna kind of set you guys up for like a time lapse slash, every now and then I will show you guys exactly what I am working on. Obviously I did this side yesterday. I wanted to make sure, I could do it, get it all out in a reasonable time before I go ahead and record. Also, I figured I'll just record one side for you guys because, well, I don't know if you guys want to sit there and watch me do both. But for the rears on the A4, we will be doing just the wheel bearings back there. All the suspension components were great back there. So I do have no concerns with anything in the back other than those wheel bearings, because I know when I'm driving at higher speeds, I can hear this wheel bearing starting to go. So we do have new wheel bearings for the rear as well. Anyways, I'm gonna set you guys up and we will get going on the driver's side. But step one will be removing the axle bolt here. What came in the kit came with new hardware. I'm gonna take all this off real quick and I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what we got. But first we did get new rotors. These are them right there, both front rotors. So as you guys can see, there's our new front rotors. And the wheel was shaking anyways when braking, so I believe that is warped rotors. We're gonna find that out, but since I am replacing everything up here after an alignment, it all should be feeling great. So taking a look inside the ECS box here, this is where I did get all of this from. As you guys can see, we have new wheel bearings. I think these are the two rears or the front, I can't remember exactly. There's all the info you should need. Taking a peek in here, as you can see, we have new wheel bearings. We also got new upper control arms. As you can see here, we got new lower control arms here. We got the tie rod ends right here. We got sway bar end links are somewhere in here. There's one of the sway bar end links. This is our new hub right here, as you can see. So we really have just about everything. You can see a bunch of hardware just kind of chilling right there. So yeah, we pretty much have everything that we should need to get this suspension up to par. Make sure it's looking good. I do have less work or less room to work on this side. This is where our trash can usually is. So I kind of moved that out of the way. And hopefully we'll have enough room to do everything here. But step one is removing that axle nut. So I'm gonna set you guys up and we're gonna get this going. Okay, so what I use to take this off is this big Allen. This is an H17. And then this kind of like weird extendable breaker bar that I have here. Just kind of end up standing on it and loosening it that way. So sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Okay, so we may use some heat. It broke. All right, step 2 on this side, remove lug nuts. And I will be soaking these in some of that rust remover. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. It is kind of rusty, so they all are. So we'll be changing those over. Okay, so now we will take our axle nut off. Just go ahead and take this caliper off. So first you pop this little spring out, and that will allow it to come off of the bracket, the mounting bracket. Then there are 2 little bolts back here. One up there, one down here. I can't remember if those are, they're Allens. I don't know the size exactly on those. I'm gonna take those off, slide the caliper off, and then these, and then we should be able to go ahead and grab our mounting bracket bolts off. Then we can remove our rotor, and then we'll just kind of work around all of the suspension as a whole. So let me go ahead, go get an Allen to go ahead and take this caliper off. I will be right back. All right, you guys. So I believe that this is a 7. It says it kind of weird on this actual tool, but yep, that is it. So whatever size you guys fancy that one to be, we will go ahead and take these out. They don't come all the way out, they just come out enough to loosen the actual caliper. Then we'll take our flathead, go ahead and pry these out. As you can see, they just come out, just a little spring. And we'll also go ahead and dip this in our rust remover. Caliper is chilling. For the brake pad on the other side, I did just kind of cut the sensor. These honestly still have a lot of life left in them, but I think just to be safe, we're gonna do everything just to make sure that we're in good shape. And go ahead and wrap it around all of the suspension. Okay, so these are actually a 17 for the mounting bracket. And I think I broke that one loose as well. I did. So these are some of the bolts that we will go ahead and soak in our rust remover. So that way, because I don't think we have replacements for everything, including these mounting brackets. So now it's quite literally just about loosening all of the nuts, taking the ones off of our shock here. This one, removing the sway bar end link nuts. Same thing with the ends of the control arms up in there, or the track control links as they call them. And then up here, we will have to completely take out that whole assembly with these 16s up here. We will be popping that out, and then we can just kind of go ahead and take off our whole knuckle assembly. I think I'm gonna do this slightly different than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I kind of popped everything off within the car, that being where the control arms connect down here. So I will be disconnecting those probably afterwards, because I can get better grip on my tool, my kind of little spacer tool. I'll show you guys that when we get to it. And then I can also just kind of give it some dead blows with the hammer and make sure I can get those off. So yeah, main thing is trying to get this all off today, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I'm gonna put you guys on time-lapse mode now while I take a lot of these nuts off. I won't be taking the bolts out yet because everything kind of starts shifting around then, but I will go ahead and loosen all of those nuts. So let's get to it. So real quick before we continue, I did forget to tell you guys that if you are going to be doing this lower control arm on your Audi, a lot of the older ones are really all the same, the A6, the A8, and the A4s. They all kind of use this same kind of suspension setup. In order to remove these bolts on this lower curved arm, you do have to lower the back of the subframe a little bit. So I did go ahead and remove these bolts, one there, one there. And then you start lowering this, which I believe is an 18 as well. Enough until you can go ahead and get these out. I already did that yesterday, so I should be good. I did go ahead and lower both sides, so we should be good there. Just a little tip if you guys are doing this yourself. All right guys, so that bolt's out right there. I got the bolt out of this arm down here. The axle nut is obviously disconnected, so that will come out. The only other thing that needs to come out will be the tie rod end, and then these 16s up here. I'm about to take these 16s out now. I'm just gonna take these out with the impact and some ghetto rigging here. There. I will go ahead, and I did get this bolt out of the tie rod. That was being a pain yesterday. Luckily I got it today. So now all I have to do is loosen the nut up in here, this one right here. And then I will loosen this, pop it out, and we should have this whole knuckle off. I do also need to pick up a new axle on this side. As you can see right there, it's split. This one's nasty. The other one I had replaced previously. This one still needs done. The hub on this side is good, so we'll take a wire brush and kind of clean all this up. Same thing with all this up inside the wheel wells and everything. This should all be silver, and it's not even close. So yeah, give me a couple more minutes and we should have this all out. As you guys can hear that wheel bearing. I'm gonna give a call to one of my local shops and see if they would be willing to go ahead and press these in and out for me, and as well as maybe get these pinch bolts out. And as you can see, these are the lower arms. This is the curved arm. This is the other one. There's just these 18. There's this 18 and then this 18. They both will pop off, and then I can use my ball joint tool, which sits in here and then kind of clamps down here. It's kind of like the Audi tool, and it'll pop it out, or I might just be able to hammer that out too. The ABS sensor has to come out with the car. This is the brake pad wear sensor. This is the ABS, which plugs up in here, but it runs through the knuckle, so no way to kind of disconnect that without doing that. These ones up here for the upper arms are 16s, nut on the inside, and then this bolt on the outside. This is really the only way to get these arms out. is to take this whole assembly out of the vehicle, which I do wish that I was doing a new coilover setup right now, but unfortunately I am not. I am gonna also go ahead and put in an order through Napa to go ahead and get a new axle. Like I said, the other side is good. I did do that like months ago, so we're good over there. This side still needs it done. It clicks when you turn, like when you're at full lock, it clicks. So definitely gonna need to replace that. Still have to figure out how to get that off. I haven't even really messed with it, so I don't know if it's stuck or not, but it didn't turn like the other one did. So we'll figure that out. But then it's really just a bunch of cleaning. Go ahead and clean all of this up, you know, get the new wheel bearings in there, and we'll be moving along. I also called a place called Havana Auto Parts near me. And they have a machine shop that can press in and out the wheel bearings. I didn't ask them about the pinch bolt. I'm just gonna kind of show them and be like, hey, maybe you guys have something. I don't know, I'm hoping and praying. But then I'm also gonna put it in an order for an axle. I'm gonna take a trip over there. I got them all ready right there, the knuckles, both are ready. I did go ahead and take those dust shields off. It's right there for you guys. So yeah, they're all prepped and ready to go. I'm gonna go get that new hub put in on the passenger side and the wheel bearings on both of them. So we should be ready to go after that. So I'm gonna go make a run. I might record some of it, I'm not sure. But either way, I will give you guys an update here in just a second. All right, you guys, so it's probably like an hour later, 2 hours later since I last recorded. I did run over to the auto parts place, like the machine shop. And after calling around a couple places and trying to find one, sorry, I just realized I got, yeah, that's dirt, whatever, you know, from cleaning. Yeah, I took it over to the machine shop. They said they can press out the wheel bearings, press in the new ones, press in that new hub. Then the guy said that he will try to get those bolts out, those pinch bolts. I did get back home and I started cleaning. I didn't really think you guys would want to see me cleaning, but I don't know if you remember just how dirty it was. I'll show you here in a second what I got it looking like. And then the only other update would be the driver's side tie rod end. I cannot get that sucker off, so I may just need to like sit there with the torch for a couple minutes. I may also need to go get some penetrating stuff, you know, like WD-40 or something a little bit better than that, that'll kind of get up in there and allow me to take that off. I also think that I'm going to be ordering the inner tie rods. I didn't get those with all the suspension. That was the only thing up front that I did not get, was those inner tie rods. So, I mean, they don't seem too bad. The boot on the passenger side here is ripped a little bit, but otherwise it doesn't seem too bad. It's a little bit loose, but nothing major. Nothing I really noticed when the car was, you know, actually driving. The only thing I noticed when I was driving was the wheel bearings. So, yeah, but in further inspection, all the arms and whatnot, you guys kind of saw them. They're all kind of torn up. So let me go ahead and show you what we got it looking like and we'll move forward. All right, so as you can see, it looks a lot better up in here now. Got them wheel liners looking clean. Got the, you know, now you can see all of the metal and whatnot that you could not see before. This tie rod's ready to go. I've got there's one bolt on the axle that I see is starting to come out a little bit up there, so I do want to go ahead and put that right back in. This axle is good because I did replace it. And then I have this shield that I never did put back, that goes up in there, just kind of protects all the inner stuff up in there, so I will be putting that back on too. Otherwise, it looks great up in here, all ready to go and put back together. Coming over to the driver's side, and same thing. It's looking nice and good up in here. As you can see, rather clean. This axle I did get on order over at Napa, so I should be able to pick that up when I go and pick the knuckle up. They are putting the wheel bearings in right now. Otherwise, everything looks nice and clean up here. This is the boy that's been giving me some trouble, so I will try that here in just a little bit. Try to heat up around there and twist it off, because it was not doing that before. As you can see, not the cleanest, but definitely much better than what it was. At least now you can touch things without getting crap all over your fingers. Here I got a bunch of the parts and whatnot that were in the rust remover. Looks a lot worse on the camera than it does in real life, but yeah, these were all sorts of kind of rusted. So they definitely look a lot better now. Some of these I won't even be reusing. I just threw them in here when I took them off. The lug nuts though, they were pretty bad, so they're definitely a lot better now. That one still could use some more, but
These are the springs for the calipers. So yeah, everything's looking nice and good. I also did hit it with some brake cleaner, so it's all, you know, ready to go up in there now. I did also go ahead and block off those connectors for the ABS, just that way they didn't get any water in them. I think that's the only update I have for you right now. I will see you guys when I get the knuckles with the new wheel bearings back. I'll let you know if we got that pinch bolt out. If not, then I guess we'll see where we have to go from there. But if so, then we can come back and we can start reassembling at least the passenger side, because the other side still got to do the tie rod end and the axle. But this side should be all ready to go back together. So when we get that back, we'll be moving forward and getting this side at least put back together. And then, yeah, there's the update for now. So I will see you guys there in just a bit. All right, guys, well, we're back with day 2 of the suspension rebuild. Yesterday, I did get the wheel bearings back. Got them installed on the knuckles. As you guys can see right there, some new wheel bearings in. This one also has the new hub. This was the passenger side. And they could not get those pinch bolts out. So I ended up taking it to my work, speaking with one of the master techs, and they probably took about 30 seconds to get those out. You used an air hammer, a bunch of penetrating oil, and a lot of heat, and got them out very quick. So I kind of cleaned the hub up, or the knuckle up a little bit, kind of cleaned within those holes and whatnot. So they should be a lot cleaner up in there now. I have every other suspension piece laid out right here, everything that I'm gonna need, and then all the hardware here too. When I put the new hardware in, I'm gonna be putting grease on almost every single piece. Not Loctite, the anti-seize. I heard that sometimes that can actually make it worse. So I'm just gonna end up using grease, so that way if I ever need to do this again, it comes off a little bit easier than it came off this time. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the car back together. I did install the piece that sits above the axle here to cover all the splash zone and whatnot, and then I did put that bolt back in that was kind of sticking out on the axle here. We do have our new axle right there for the driver's side, so we will be installing that as well. But first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and attach the main arms to this, and to the whole strut kind of assembly piece over there. So you will go ahead and attach all those, get them all ready to go in, and then we should just be able to kind of like pop it all back together. A little bit easier than putting the knuckle in first and then attaching all the arms. So that's exactly how I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and start attaching these arms, making sure I'm lubing them all correctly or the way that I want them, before I go ahead and put them in. And then we can just kind of pop everything back into place, put the new brake pads and rotors in, and we should be good. I'm definitely gonna start on this side because this side's fully ready to go. I still have to do the axle on the other side as well as the tie rod end. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna set you guys up. As you can see, Riley's hanging out with me today over there. Say what's up, Riley.
Hello.
She's hanging out with me today, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up. We're gonna start attaching these arms and we'll go from there. And these ones we do have to tighten down before they go in the car. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a pain to do them when they are in the car. Just have a master tech on hand at all times. Works out very conveniently when you do have questions about your car. I wish I would have done coils during this time, but unfortunately I did not, so that is an oh well. I wonder what car that is, because it's So now I'm gonna put the tie rod back in, and in order to make sure that you guys don't need, your alignment's not too far off, you want to make sure that you count the amount of times that you twist it off and then same way back in. I did mine 22, so I'm going to twist it back in 22. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 22. So that should be about where I need it. Each one's going to be a little bit different, and you are going to need to get an alignment after you take your tie rods apart. This ought to be where it gets fun. And if we get one of these 16s up here started, then it at least won't go anywhere for the time being. And we can kind of move everything around to where we need it. Oops. We shouldn't let that happen. All right, you guys, so you take some finagling to get that up in there, which I decided not to do on camera because it's kind of embarrassing. But I recommend putting the axle and these 2 lower control arms in place, and then pushing it up and having somebody up top put the 16s in, just to make it a little bit easier for yourself. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and thread our bolts in for our lower control arm, this curved arm down here. Okay, so now in order to put the sway bar end link on, you need to make sure that the side that has a little extender on the bottom goes on the bottom, so it'll kind of wrap around the control arm like this, and that lower extension piece will connect to the sway bar down here. Obviously it shouldn't fit like that because it'll be sticking out further. That'd be a really weird angle to put it in. So it should be pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, and then just thread your bolts through the backside, so that way if you ever need to take them off, you can still get to the nuts. Also, it helps to have an organized workspace, and I definitely do not. Okay, give me 1 second. I did go ahead and tighten down these 16s, or I got them, they're not torqued or anything, but they are tightened down. That way to pull all that up together. I did put the pinch bolt in, so that's all good. I did put a lot of grease on that because, as you guys know, that is my least favorite bolt. Sway bar end links in, control arms are tightened down. I'm gonna clean off my ABS sensor here real quick before I go ahead and put that back in. And then I'll run the wires right back up to where they were sitting, which is in this little spot here, and then they plug in right there, and then there's a little rubber grommet. Like I said, I will be replacing these coils at some point, obviously. If we're gonna be building the A4, I do wanna lower it a little bit, so I will be putting coils on it. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start torquing all these down, doing a couple of those other things that I said, and then we can move forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys up for the time lapse, and we'll get this all finished up. Well, we got this side all finished up. It's looking great up in here. As you can see, you got new brake pads, new rotor, really about new everything under here. The only thing I want to do now is paint the caliper and then tighten our axle bolt here. Other than that, we are completely done on this side. Everything looks great. Looks nice and clean up in there now, a lot different from when we started. So now the only thing I have to do or go do on the other side is go put the axle in. I got it loaded up with some of the grease. Got some new bolts here, and then I kind of clean these up. These are the little pieces that, you know, they go with the bolts. So anyways, I'm gonna go put this in right now. It is kind of getting dark and laid out. Looks pretty down there, but yeah, it's kind of getting dark around here. So I am going to go ahead and put that in. I will set you guys up whether you want to see that or not. And the knuckle from that side. This side did not get a new hub, as you guys remember, but we will go ahead and put everything back together, start getting it mounted in the car. But then I'll get up in here with every other suspension component we need, get everything attached and whatnot, and we can go from there. Probably put a little bit too much grease on there, but it's whatever, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right, you guys, so we got one axle in. As you can see, I put a lot of grease around there. Got the little seal around there as well. So now we can go ahead and start rebuilding the rest of our suspension. So let's get to it.
All right, you guys, so glasses back on. Didn't wear the contacts today. Anyways, I don't think I'm gonna record the other side getting done for you just because it is dark. It's gonna take me a lot more time to record and do it versus just doing it. I do have to go back to work tomorrow, so I am trying to finish this up tonight. But within the next week, I should be able to get to the rear wheel bearings. That is the only thing that we're doing in the rear. So we can get that done, and then we can order some more parts and move on to our next project. I do hope you guys enjoy the series on ripping that car apart, Riley's car. We do have more content of that coming very soon. I'm waiting for Riley to send me over the content so that way I can edit it and put it together for a video for you guys. So I will have that content very soon for you guys. You will be able to enjoy that. Hopefully you enjoyed part 1. I'm not exactly sure how many parts we are gonna have, but yeah, part 2 is definitely coming very soon. So anyways, I'm gonna get working on this, and I will see you guys in just a little bit. So you guys, it has been a couple days. In fact, it's been probably about a week or so since I have finished the A4. I know I said I was gonna meet back up with you guys that night, but it ended up getting really late. And I did not end up finishing it until like 11:30, almost midnight, I think. I don't know. But I had work the next day, so I just kind of wanted to finish it up. I still need to get an alignment done. I have never done an alignment before, and I got a guy from work that said that he will show me how to do it. So I'm going to take it to work one day and have him help me do that. I may record that for you guys and let you see how that's done, show you guys what it entails underneath the car. Like I said, I've never done one before, so I guess there's a first time for everything. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and finish that up, get the alignment done. I will take you guys for a test drive here in just a second, but I did want to tell you real quick that I did order some new parts. I got new tie rods for the S8. That should fix the clicking. I never have gotten it to go away, no matter what I replaced. And then I don't know if I showed you guys, but I did blow an axle on the passenger side of the S8. I've already replaced the axle on this side. I think I did show you guys that. So I got to replace the axle on the other side and then replace those control arms too. Since I did it to the driver's side, I'll do that once those tie rods come in. They are loose. You can move them by hand, and that should not happen. So I do think that is the issue. And then, like I think I said, I had one of the techs from my work look at it with a stethoscope, and that's what he thinks it is. So we're gonna hope that that's exactly what that is. Like I said, I do have those on the way. I also have a new power steering line, a high pressure power steering line for the 8.4 because it leaks power steering fluid like crazy. I have to top it off with power steering fluid like twice a week. It's insane. I thought that I might be able to fix it. It's been like this for a long time, and I just buy cheap power steering fluid. It's just something I do. So I finally ordered one of those lines. We're gonna be replacing that relatively soon. And then I also ordered a rear differential service kit for the A4 as well, because the rear axle shafts on the A4 are leaking. It drips down everywhere and makes a mess down there. And then the drain plug is leaking as well. I am also gonna be ordering a rear differential service kit for the S8. And then that'll also come with the new drain bolts. So hopefully that'll solve our problem. We are gonna have to drop the diff in the A4 in order to change those axle seals. We might do it in the S8 anyways, just to make sure, you know, preventative maintenance or whatever. So that is on the way. I do have a bunch of parts on ECS waiting to be bought. Like I said, you know, I still got a bunch. I've ordered a bunch of stuff for these cars and ran out of funds for right now. So I got to
wait until those build back up and then I can order some more parts. But anyways, that is the update on the A4 and the suspension that we did. I'm gonna take you guys for a test drive right now, so let's go. As you guys can see, since we did do this, we do have an ABS light on, and that is because the shop that I took it to in order to get the wheel bearings pressed out, they ended up crushing one of my ABS sensors on the front driver's side, I believe. That is a piece of the cart that I have on ECS Tuning waiting to order. That is something that's gonna come with it. So that will be on the way and that'll fix that. And then I don't know if you guys remember the clicking that it did. Whenever I returned the wheel to full lock, I did replace the passenger side axle when that blew out and it was undrivable for a while. But when I would turn, the axle would click on the driver's side. Both front axles were completely messed up when I first bought the car. So I did go ahead and replace that as well when I was in the suspension. I didn't show you guys that, I don't think. So yeah, the clicking has gone away, so that's good, that's a plus. I'm not sure if you guys can see because it is night, but the alignment is way off. The steering wheel is turning to the right a little bit, so there's that. Otherwise though, it does drive really well. I do have no issues with it. As you guys can see, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to show you here, but it does work and it does stop on a dime. I'll have to show you guys on a day when it's nice and sunny. I did just get home from work and it is night, and well, now the camera quality is bad. So anyways, hope that little test drive kind of showed you guys exactly what's going on. Like I said, I will show you guys another day when it is a lot nicer, but I did want to get this video finished and uploaded. So anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy and peace out.